The Transportation Security Administration is testing a controversial facial recognition technology, and it could be coming to an airport near you or us.
Well, this type of screening is banned in some cities, including San Francisco. But in other airports, travelers may notice kiosks with small cameras checking photos on their IDs to verify their identities. At least 16 airports from New York to Los Angeles are testing the biometric technology and facial recognition program. The TSA says the technology is aimed at increasing security and efficiency. What I want to know is it going to get me through the checkpoint to my airplane sooner?
That's a good question. So let's take that question to CBS News correspondent Kris Van Cleave, who's joining us with more on this. So, Kris, you heard Lana's question. And, you know, this equipment isn't new. It's been slowly rolled out for years. But what makes this different?
Well, you know, we've been covering this rollout for years, going back to 2016, 2017, when the agency was starting to develop this facial recognition. They're testing two systems. One is a sort of a one-to-one. Basically, it compares your ID that you put into the machine to a photo of you. And then there's another system that's being looked at that compares your photo to photos of you that are already in a government database, like your passport photo. The TSA, while they haven't released specific numbers, say that this is a faster, more reliable way of identity verification than the good old guy or girl looks at your ID, looks at you, and moves you through. If you have, or if you're familiar with Clear, which is something that you can subscribe to and choose to store your biometrics. It's kind of like the hot lanes of airport security. It will work something like that if it were to be fully sent out wide beyond a test platform. And Clear does save you time. At least that's been my experience. So there is the potential to speed this up, and during the pandemic, one of the arguments was it was reducing a touch point and interaction point between travelers and TSA officers, which could also speed the process some. It is optional; you don't have to do it at these 16 airports where it's been deployed, but it is certainly something that the agency is looking at as a way of sort of improving efficiency, moving people through the checkpoints.
That's an interesting point, that it is still voluntary, because many people are, of course, concerned about their personal privacy, but our phones already listen to us. My Alexa and Googles are all listening to me at home. We're giving up so much of our personal information. Is there something in particular, Kris, about this updated technology that is controversial?
Well, there are privacy concerns anytime the government starts using facial recognition for anything. So there are the usual privacy concerns, and there's also the security concern. What happens to those photos? How are they stored? How long are they stored? How secure is that database? In the one-to-one comparison, where you put in your driver's license, it takes a picture, looks at the driver's license photo, looks at your picture, and moves you along, that image isn't retained very long. If it's pulling from a database like your passport photo, that passport photo is already in a government database. So if somebody hacks that, they could get access to it. Where is it stored in the interim while it's being compared? Typically what these systems will do is pull the people that are expected to fly that day into a temporary database. The Customs and Border Protection version of this technology, for example, holds it for about 12 hours. And while it's in that space, how vulnerable is it to hacking? Those are the types of concerns. And then, could those photos be used in other ways? The TSA says they're not using it for tracking passengers beyond the checkpoint. It's a identity verification tool. And if this can be done more efficiently than somebody checking your ID, looking at you, looking back at the ID, handing it back to you, if you can cut that down by, 2 seconds a person, times that by all the people that go through a checkpoint, and you actually move the lines noticeably faster, potentially.
Potentially. Kris, thanks.
Sure thing.